So they say that the hour is always darkest before the dawn. And similarly, when you're about to break out in whatever you're looking to do, whether it's a business or pursuing your truth, what you find is everything goes wrong and it doesn't make sense. And the desire at that point to quit, will rear its ugly head. The reason I'm doing a video about this is I had the pleasure of meeting a speaker by the name of Ron Chapman, who comes to the Glasgow Theosophical Society every year. So every year on cue, he turns up and his crowd just turn up and he talks for a week or so and then he leaves off to his next place. And he's been doing this for 40 years or so. And I'd been hearing about this gentleman for the last couple of years and we'd passed each other, but we'd never really sat down and talked. So I came back from one of my talks that I was doing, I believe it was in Edinburgh or somewhere like that, and I decided to come along for, some of his final talks. So I'm watching this man who's obviously 40 years down the road, and obviously the communication and the energy was absolutely amazing. It was more interesting with the energy and the way everything was being done rather than what was actually being said. And on the final night, we got a chance to talk, and the Theosophical Society president obviously let him know that obviously I was talking as well. And he looked at me, gave me a huge smile, and said the words, "Don't quit." And that was it. I then replied, obviously I had no intention of quitting, and we exchanged email addresses, had some really nice, like conversations in which he told me about how he'd started, and I told him how I'd started, and I was amazed that this gentleman was still going after 40 years, and obviously he started in a time where there's no Facebook, no Twitter. We didn't have the social media, then that we have now. And it would have been so much more harder, going out there and obviously communicating your truth in a time when, obviously, this stuff was still going on, but possibly not as, as out there as it is now. And one of the things he said to me was, I could tell you stories, and I kind of said, well, look, I'm sure if we had 2 weeks in a room, those stories wouldn't end, because I can imagine you've had some amazing adventures. And I was very honored to meet this man, because here's somebody who's been going for 40 years and is like, in a sense, an elder in the field. And it's always good sitting with people who've been doing this for a while, because you can learn so much and you can obviously kind of see how they're doing what they're doing. And his communication was very, very subtle. It was almost like having a conversation. There was hardly of the spiritual terms, and yet, it worked. But yeah, what I took away from it was 2 words: don't quit. And now this is how life works out. I then go off to do some talks, and I get invited to one of these home-based business opportunity meetings by some friends. And for a moment, I thought to myself, you know what, I wouldn't mind doing this. Not the actual opportunity, but maybe just quitting all of this and getting a job and settling down and doing the normal things, whatever normal is. So about a day or two, I played with this little fantasy, thought to myself, I wonder what it'd be like, running my own business and maybe buying a nice car and having a nice wardrobe and having a nice house and doing this and this. And it was nice. It was nice. I woke up one morning and there was a tweet on my Twitter, which I was mentioned, and there was a picture of this gentleman, and my friend was looking at it, and my friend went, "Hold on, that's you, and that's the back of your head in this shot." And as obviously she said that, I thought to myself, yeah, you know what, that is. And invariably, straight away, the words "don't quit" came into my mind, which just completely, boom, put me back on track. And I thought, wow, isn't it incredible how life works out to keep you on track? And this video is really about keeping whoever you are on track, because sometimes what it is when we're looking to pursue our truth or do something different, like I said in one of my other videos, when we get up one morning and decide we're going to be a bit different, all sorts of things can be thrown up at you, from the initial terror, the fear, then you're getting on with it, then you're trying to obviously figure out how to do this. And what you can find is just before it's about to really, in a sense, go somewhere, these feelings of not wanting to quit, so wanting to quit come up. And they can be very, very subtle. They don't have to be something insidious that's, having to go at you and you've got to fight it. So, for example, with myself, it's like, well, this would be nice. I wouldn't mind having this life. So it wasn't because I was, I'm sick and tired of talks, because, hey, I meet some amazing people and I meet more and more people and things are really taking off, so to speak. And I'm happy. And yet, this whole idea of don't quit came in. But then it also made me realize that those who are in truth also transcend time and space as well, because what created that "don't quit" comment to come out? But the thing is, again, going back to that point, sometimes what you find is when you're about to get somewhere, you're going to have a real breakthrough, then these whole ideas of wanting to quit and give up, come up. It's like that whole story of the man who goes, looking for gold, and he digs, 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 and he's a couple of centimeters away, and he gives up. And that's the whole point. Don't quit. Just keep going in whatever you're doing. And it can be at this stage a really crazy kind of time because there's all this formulation of all these different ideas and it's making sense and stuff. But then that part of you which knows, invariably knows that things are going to change. And that can bring up some fear, and the fear can be so subtle, or the sabotage can be so subtle that we can want to quit without even realizing that we want to quit. And it's at those times that you want to persist because you're closer than you think to what you want to do. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, in whatever endeavor that you're engaged in, don't quit, and just keep going, because we're at that time where there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people are kind of trying to make sense of little bits and bobs and everything, or how am I going to do this, or what's this, and all sorts of excuses will come up and will support your decision to let's just leave it. I read this amazing quote by George Lucas, in which he talked about the fact that for the first 6 years while doing Star Wars, he had no idea why he was doing Star Wars, and he just was like, well, why don't I just quit and get myself a job? Now, had that gentleman decided to quit, imagine how much, imagine how much enjoyment would have just left the world. We wouldn't have had all these amazing characters and all this joy. But he kept going. So again, I've been reiterating this in a lot of videos already. Whatever you want to do, go do it. Face your demons, face your fears, see yourself truly and authentically. And it's, and it's not going to be easy at times, and sometimes it's great. It's just completely flowing. But more importantly, do not quit. Just keep going. Just keep going, because your light, however you may think it's insignificant, can completely change someone's life, and it can change yours as well. So be authentic, be true, be real to yourself, and most importantly, do not quit.